Joelle explains that the doctors and their machines are all that are keeping her alive. She is sick of standing around, powerless. Fence looks over the blueprints laid out on the table and comments that perhaps these facts are disproven by the fact that Strucker actually died. One of those men survived, but he couldn't handle looking over his shoulder anymore. Later, Remy thinks about how he usually liked to keep people at a distance. It's easier to steal from strangers and also to walk away from them, once you know somebody's story. After driving for a while, Joelle asks him to stop. They climb out of the cabin and look down at the valley below. A large scroll face dominates the area as seen from above. Grabbing a rope, Gambit jumps from the cliff edge and says it always is, and he never is. Joelle follows him down the rope and says that it looks like the coordinates that Shakey was selling were right. Underneath is a scroll face with a keypad on it. Joelle taps in the code she got from Shakey and the door opens. As they head inside, a robotic voice coming over the loudspeaker states that Shadow Station L126 is online. They enter another room and find dusty doorways where people have been experimented upon. He wipes away some dust to reveal the face of one of the unfortunate victims behind the glass. They move on to another doorway. The lights turn red, and the loudspeaker states that they have insufficient security clearance. Baron von Strucker's image appears in holographic form, and he informs them that whoever they are, he wishes to personally welcome them to their end. They see a hole open up in the floor, and from under it appears a giant mutant. He leaps and charges up a few cards, unleashing them at the giant. It roars at him as they begin to explode, destroying parts of his armor and weaponry. Joelle looks behind him and reminds him that their attackers still aren't dead. Gambit grabs her and runs, adding that sometimes the best rescue looks like an escape. They find themselves in a new room which contains a cabinet with 3 tubes inside. It's sealed tight. It looks like Shakey never had this kind of clearance after all. Joelle looks at the creatures clawing at the open window and knows they aren't going out the way they came in. Gambit tells her that he memorized the layout, remember? He has a better exit. He charges a card and blows a hole in the floor. They then fall through it straight to where the snowbike are sitting. Moments later, they are rocketing from the base and into the open air. Once outside, Remy looks back, expecting the place to blow up, which it doesn't. Joelle says they got what they came for. Meanwhile, Fence contacts Remy and tells him to get out of there before the snowstorm comes. As he speaks, his door is smashed off its joints. Tombstone flanked by 2 of his guards. He tells Fence that the Gambit stole something from him. The Zero compound. It's a chemical weapon. So, how about you tells me the coordinates of these 2 lovebirds? Over at the base, the computer counts down to 0. Nearby, the snowmobile has run out of gas, so Gambit and Joelle head off walking. Joelle is concerned for her daughter, but Remy knows they must survive the night. He creates a hole in the snow and they soon fall asleep. When the sun rises, he opens his eyes to see Rogue standing there looking down at them.